Enter at will. Bruce, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
How you doing?
I'm all right. I am in the middle of the cleanse before the colostomy tomorrow.
Man, you're not lying, buddy.
I know. Well,
You mean because you ate too much, or you literally have a colostomy tomorrow?
no, I'm 61. The last one was 12 years ago, so I'm going to Bedford in the morning to have it done. And I just let's see, just set my alarm. So in 11 minutes and 14 seconds, I'll have to go and drink another 8 ounces. But that's all of that. Now that it was just you and I, we just got started.
That sounds like a fun time.
Oh,
how you doing, Alan?
Not too bad, Dan. How are you? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. I ate way too much.
Oh, come
Merry
on.
Christmas, Alan.
Silly camera.
What is that puppet of?
It's Figgy from Disney.
That's Figment.
Yeah.
As in a figment of your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
I got the reference.
It was the theme character behind Epcot when it opened, and now they kind of try to forget about it.
Mm-hmm. I remember how the song went. Imagination, imagine. You remember that?
Oh, that's it exactly. I wasn't going to try to sing it though.
I can give you some effects.
Yeah, I'm a native Floridian. I remember when Epcot first opened.
Oh, Alan has his protest going.
No, I'm trying to get my video working, and that happened to be the default for my Manycam.
Mm.
Well, this is the first time I've been able to using the My Hangouts button. I just happened to check it, and I saw you pop up. I said, "Well, I know him. I'll jump in there."
Muhammad was awesome guest, wasn't he?
Oh man, really, really good. So did you get that that Shift P thing that I mentioned to you?
Did you mention it to me?
Yeah. If you click on Google Plus Hangouts in the upper left-hand corner, and then hold down the Shift key and press P, it brings up a whole new page with this incredible amount of data about the Hangout.
Okay, where do I do this?
Okay, the upper left-hand corner with your mouse, click Google Plus Hangouts. It's kind of gray where the little camera is, and then all you do is click that, let go of your mouse, then hold down the Shift key and press P.
On the Hangout screen or on Google
Ooh.
Plus? On the Hangout screen.
Yes, on the Hangout screen.
Shift P.
Mm-hmm.
Google Meeting plugin stats. Not that I have anything showing there, but...
Oh, my goodness.
You can see the codec that it's using, which is H.264, the CPU usage of the plugin, and just all
I know
kinds.
the CPU uses plugin. That's easy enough.
And then
So
you
it
can...
says 5 senders. Does that mean there's 3 people watching?
I'm not sure.
Because that's one stat I've never seen.
Yeah.
Neither have I, but that makes sense since this is a Hangout on air. One of the things about Hangouts on air is that they only have 8 participants allowed, and there are 2 hidden ones which are doing the recording and stuff.
Mm.
So that jives.
Then you can click on those expand collapse links, and it will open up other information.
Okay.
Yeah, that was. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that is neat. I don't think you mentioned me because I wouldn't. If you just posted it, I'm liable to have. I'm almost certain to have missed it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you, yeah, I always encourage people in the bottom when you share it, put my name in there so I get a notification.
Right.
I
think I commented on one of your posts.
Oh, okay.
Is where I did that. So
maybe it was late. Man, I cannot. I ate so much food.
Interesting. You see that link that says help?
Right.
Help, what is this? You ever click on it?
I haven't. What does all this mean?
Yeah. Click on it. It's interesting.
Huh.
Help within what we were just looking at, you mean?
Yeah.
For anyone who's watching, what we're doing is when you're in an actual Hangout, not if you're watching it, but if you're in the Hangout, on the top left, you've got a screen. You just, I guess you hover your mouse over that screen, and then you hit Shift-P, and you get a set of information. I'm not sure how to share it, Alan. Is there a way to share it so people could see what we're talking about?
Probably not. I might be able to.
That's what I mean. I don't know if I can. I'm afraid to do anything because it crashed on me
Manycam
last time, and I died 1,000 deaths on my show. And then the stink bug landed on my head.
Now, here's what's interesting, Alan. I can't get into that help page because my
No, you can't.
No, because my password has the @ sign in it, and that character is not allowed. But I can use
No. There's an even better reason why you can't get into that page. Look at what username it's asking you for.
Oh, so you have to be a Google person.
That's a Google internal page.
Oh,
okay.
Okay, gotcha.
You see that logo in the upper left-hand corner?
Yeah.
That's a Google internal logo.
We've triggered several alarms by now. Leave it to Alan to get me kicked off the Google.
Hey, I just followed the link that Bruce posted. It's his fault.
They can't get on Bruce.
I like the graphs one. When you expand and collapse the graphs, and it's real time. I mean, you can see it move across. Connection bit rate.
Man, you talk about a slow news week.
Yeah, I forget what it was. One of the demos it was Google Music. They were demoing Google Music publicly. This is the rollout for Google Music. And they had a video that was showing, if you bought something in Google Music and you then shared it. So I'm in a live chat with some friends, and I said, forget that. I want that Google logo. And a friend of mine sent me a private message saying, that's the Google internal logo. So he said, how did you see that? And I said, they just shared, they just showed it as part of the Google Music rollout. So, it's public. Simulate a talk plugin message. Ooh.
You're hacking live. You're hacking the Hangout. I'm going to get in so much trouble. They're going to have to add a whole new set of paragraphs to the agreement. That's funny. Did you see Newt compared the Virginia ballot fiasco to Pearl Harbor?
I didn't see that.
Oh, my God. I love Newt.
I did not see that one, but
I've interviewed him, or I asked him a question, and I've met him and stuff, right? And but he is a character. Bob Woodward has a great thing in the Post yesterday about him. And he's the leader in the last poll in Virginia, and he's not going to be on the ballot. That's not good. Everybody going on a diet for the next week?
Yeah, not much chance of that.
I just need to get more exercise. My job's too sedentary.
Yeah.
Alan
So, Dan,
is heaven.
I saw that you had a nice conversation with Vic.
Vic is cool.
Get him on Friday.
I don't want to bug him. He's too busy, and then that would open a can of worms for him.
No, Friday is a big day. Look.
I'm trying to get the GoDaddy CEO on.
No!
Good.
No, GoDaddy CEO Friday would be terrible. Look, I promise I won't ask Vic any questions about the NIM Wars.
I'm not going to.
If you get him on
I
Friday.
want to ask
After
him.
that, no
he's,
promises.
He's a nice guy. I'm happy that he knows I exist. I've had that, and that's the. We've had a private and public correspondence before, but.
No, Friday is the perfect day.
I don't want to bug him. I mean, I don't know if he's ever done a Hangout. I don't know if he does shows. I think
He does shows.
He's a multi-billionaire guy, and he's busy, and if he does my show, then all of a sudden he's going to offend other people whose shows he doesn't do. I don't think it'd be fair to ask.
Okay. It's your show. I'm not going to, I'm not going to push too hard, but Friday would be the perfect day for him.
It would be a coup to have him, obviously. I'd love to have him. I'd be honored to have him. But I'm just saying, I don't think it would be awkward because he'd turn me down, and it wouldn't be fair to ask him to come on my show and then he turns other people down. I mean, if he was going to do a show, he'd do Leo's show or something.
Now, what would make Friday the perfect day? What's up with Friday?
Friday is the day is the 6-month anniversary of Google Plus being available.
Oh.
Well, that's a thought.
Mm.
And it's the perfect, it's a nice end of year wrap up. Look back at 6 months of Google Plus. End of the year, it would just be perfect.
You know what, I need some advice from you guys. I want to create, and this is a perfect example because it's not a requirement, but it's expected that you do like 2 or 3 of these a week if they give you this service, the on-air. So I'm doing this for 2 reasons. 1, to hit my quota. 3 reasons. 2, because I'm bored and I want to hang out with my friends. And 3, because I want to test to see if this gets nuked on YouTube, which it shouldn't now because Chichu pointed out that I had to verify it, my YouTube account, for them to accept 16-minute plus upload. And so I did that. I wasn't sure how to do that after the initial sign-up, but now I've got it. But anyway, I just lost my train of thought.
It was my alarm went off. I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah. But
so you're trying to think of what else you can do 2 to 3 times a week for Hangout on air?
No. What I was thinking, I want to get a permanent chat room. I know Chris Perilla uses one service. Leo uses IRC. But, for example, right now, there's no way for anyone watching to participate in our chat. You know what I mean? Like we have a chat here. It'd be neat to have something going all the time so that whatever I'm doing with whomever, there's always this central chat room that anyone can participate in. There's a bunch of different options, but I don't want to have to run a server.
And you want that tied to just when you're doing a Hangout on air or just always available?
I would say 24/7 it could be up, and then anybody can talk about whatever, and when we're doing something that I can just reference it and say, we're all watching it. Because like right now, I'm not streaming on Justin, right? I'm just streaming on YouTube or Google Plus, and so there's no way for anyone to communicate with us unless they commented on the post of the Hangout.
Now, do you use Google Apps too, or did you have 2 YouTube accounts?
I do. See, I have my main YouTube account, which I only post the formal shows on.
Right.
And I didn't want to post these on because the way it works is the newest thing is at the top, and I don't want to have to mess with it.
Oh, I see.
And that show gets a lot of views. Google Plus Week gets, in normal time, it's slow now because of Christmas, but it'll get close to 4,000 views in a week, right? And then more over time as it grows. But it's largely a news show, so basically it's time perishable. You get a few afterward. Just like a daily news show. I mean, after a week, it's basically nobody's going to watch it. You know, you're not going to watch the NBC Nightly News from 3 weeks ago. What's the point? It's time perishable. So, but yeah, I just think it'd be neat to have some kind of chat room or chat app or something that is very easy to use, popular, doesn't require 17 fields to join it. Just anybody random can join it, and we could just keep it going 24/7, and that would be the one that we all use. And this is a perfect example where there's really no way for someone to communicate with us unless they comment on the post or share something with me.
Now, I noticed Friday night Mohammed was able to share his screen.
I'm trying to think if there's a good way.
There's a screen share thing on the top left next to chat and invite, I think. Or do you not have that?
I do not have that on my end. So it may just be the person who's got on air.
Well, I know that nobody can. I'm the only one who can invite somebody.
Right.
So I think I invited all my circles. So anybody who's in my circles can come. And if anybody commented, I would just say send me a. If anyone's watching and wants to join us, send a private thing, because I'm responsible. Like if someone came on and started, disrobing or something, I would be responsible for that.
Right.
For the behavior of the guests. So they won't let me invite public.
Or you wouldn't want somebody like me being able to share their screen, throw up some copyrighted material for the same reason.
Are you sure? I wonder how he did it. Maybe he had a third-party app that he was able.
Well, maybe you have to have the on-air feature.
He was using Manycam. He said so.
Okay. See, I can't use Manycam because
he said he was using Manycam.
The way I bring my video feed in, I can't use Manycam. Otherwise, I would not have a green screen behind me. I would have something else. But I'm taking the raw feed from the camera.
So I'm playing with Wirecast now. Was there a particular reason why Wirecast doesn't have a virtual camera option like VidBlaster and many of the others? You can't use Wirecast selected as a camera source for, like it doesn't show up if you're on a flash site like TalkBox, or it doesn't show up as an option in Google Google Plus Hangouts.
Ordinarily, Wirecast is your exit point, not an entry point. I guess that's the rationale. I mean, normally that's the thing you're actually using to stream. It's not really designed to be a feeder into another program or method of streaming, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, you can use XSplit as a virtual camera. You can use VidBlaster as a virtual camera.
Yeah, I'm looking for something because I'd love to get rid of the chroma behind me and just put like a blue thing or something because it doesn't match the show. Not that I'm hiding anything, but it would just look, But right now, I'm just what's broadcasting is whatever's on my big screen, which is never me unless I were to select myself. So right now I see Bruce, and then if Alan speaks, I see Alan, but I'm always tiny in the bottom.
And now what you can do, you can use Manycam as a source, and they just released a brand new update, at least on the Windows side, a couple days ago, that allows you now to resize your picture-in-picture. You could never do that before. You could move it around, but you couldn't make it smaller or bigger. So you could have some kind of a picture background and then do a picture-in-a-picture in it. But
the problem I have is I use on my main, because I'm coming out of my camera two different ways. One cable is going into a fancy video card. What's it called? The
Blackmagic or something?
Blackmagic card for the Wirecast machine. And I dumb that down to 480 coming out of the camera because if I bring it in at 1080, my CPU gets too high.
Right.
So I have a quality compromise. Do I want it to be slow with just to totally tax the CPU, or do I want to have the negative effect of dumbing it down from the camera to 480 from 1080? Because it's a full 1920 by 1080 signal originally. And I choose to have the performance over the quality. It still looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
But and then I'm coming out a second cable with just straight composite, which is your yellow RCA cable, and then I'm coming into a little cheap consumer thing coming in USB, and Google Hangouts accepts that fine, but Manycam does not acknowledge it, or acknowledges it but doesn't accept it. It says can't read this. So I can't use Manycam, but I'm sure there's another similar app out there. What if Alan's awake?
I'm awake. I'm just having video problems again.
Yeah, I was able to give away a free copy of VidBlaster. Mike versus Developer gave away 2 or 3 copies of VidBlaster Home every day preceding Christmas for that week. And all you had to do was follow him, which I already followed him, and retweet this message. And I won the first draw. So Mike Phillips didn't have a copy of VidBlaster Home, so I sent him the email with the licensing code on it. I've already got VidBlaster Pro, but it was really he gave away, well, I guess 21 copies of VidBlaster Home, which is a $195 value. So I thought that was pretty neat.
That's I've never used it, but I know that Mike Phillips and his crew that do that Sunday show that you're on frequently, Bruce. And just to plug them, it's Computers Y2K Now.
Computers 2K Now.
Computers 2K Now. Or the easiest to spell it is Computers, the number 2, No, K-N-O-W.
Right. Yes.
Computers to Know, which I. But he uses VidBlaster. Now you have Wirecast and VidBlaster, so how do you compare the two?
Well, I've been using VidBlaster for a long time. I just downloaded a copy of Wirecast 4 days ago, and I've been playing around with it, figuring out how to do some of the things obviously that you already know how to do, just to kind of see how it how it works. I actually use a program called XSplit probably 80% of the time because it's lower on CPU usage. And it's still free in beta. For you to run it, you'd have to, be running it in Windows mode on your Mac. But it's a pretty simple camera. It gives you 12 scenes you can set up, and you can have multiple layers on each scene. And right now, it's still free in beta at xsplit.com.
I think a lot of it is whatever you know.
Exactly. My dad used to say there's a tool for every job, and depending on, like, for what you're doing on your show, you need a certain tool to be able to pull it off. For somebody that's just doing something simple, other programs would be fine.
Yeah, like I tell people with the mic, and I think Mike Phillips, and I like to get him as often as possible to just because we always have new viewers coming to watch the show, and I like to get him to talk about his microphones every once in a while because he's really he's an audio nut, right? And it's great because he really knows his stuff, and he's tried them all, and he knows.
Right.
And he's found this, what is it, $49 microphone that sounds.
It's this one right here.
Yeah, it's a USB and XLR mic, Audio-Technica, and for this quality. I mean, if you were recording, Julio Iglesias or something, I would not recommend that mic. To create a master wave file. But if you're for podcasting or just participating in a Hangout, even an $18 Walmart headset will give you dramatically better quality than these built-in laptop things.
Right. I've got 1,018 podcast episodes up right now. Recorded that last one this morning, and I've used a Shure SM58. I've used the Yeti for a long time, but the last 12 to 20 episodes have been all on this ATR 2100, and then I do a little equalization thing, and it really sounds quite good. I'm very pleased with it. So
yeah, it does.
Mike's got me really close to actually getting one of those guys.
I almost want to get one just to compare because I've got this thing which is like $500, and I've got a bunch of SM58s, and I'd love to try them because I like to sing, and if I'm singing in a bar or something, I'd like to try that thing and see how it sounds in a real PA system and just compare it.
Yeah, I've got a lot of bottom end to my voice, so the Yeti actually has a little better bass response, but it works really good. So
I remember Dr. Falwell, he didn't even need a microphone. He could just, Hello.
Yeah, I play guitar and sing.
You got a little rock and roll rebel in you there, Bruce?
Oh yeah, you know, little Bob Dylan back in the day.
He was great.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Is great.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody gave me the Jobs biography, and well, you can see where I'm positioned in the fly going through it. I'm really enjoying the book, learning a lot of new things. Of course, you've heard a lot of people already speak on it since it came out, but I'm enjoying the book.
Yeah, it looks like I don't have it. I know Oleg. I guess Oleg did a review, and it's interesting because he is, not the biggest Apple fanboy.
Mm-hmm.
But it was interesting hearing him talk about the pros and cons and things. Lifehacker had a neat idea. They said to force you to read your user manuals for appliances you buy or products you buy,
Mm-hmm.
keep them in the bathroom. And don't bring anything else in.
Yeah.
Force yourself.
Yeah.
That's pretty good advice. Simple approach. Alan, I guess you're having video issues still.
Yes, I am. I mean, I'm normally when I'm talking to you, I am downstairs and I have this computer plugged into my nice video cam. At the moment, I'm in a different room, so I'm relying on the onboard camera, which has decided not to work this evening for Hangouts, and just for Hangouts. It worked. I mean, it's working on Manycam, which is how I was in before, but that was spiking my CPU, something horrible.
What if you can join an on-air Hangout mobile?
You want me to try it?
See if it pulls up.
Well,
didn't we test that this week and determine that you can't?
I don't remember. I guess not definitively if none of us can remember.
how did you put that
Somebody
invite
tried it.
You should see it on your profile, on your stream, or you should, if you go to me,
Mm-hmm.
it should be at the top if it's going to allow you.
Yeah.
You look deceased, Mike. Or Alan, I mean. You look deceased.
I feel that way sometimes, yeah. This is ridiculous,
So you're trying to get your camera going.
Well, I've kind of given up on it at the moment. I just went to the reporting issue with Hangouts. Okay. I have an issue with video. The options are I can't see anything. I can't see parts of the Hangout. Video quality is bad. Video out of sync with audio, or frozen video.
Because it was working
How
for
about
a while. I wonder if you've got too much bloatware on that laptop.
Well, when it was working, I was running Manycam. So it's not that my video camera doesn't work, it's that something about Hangouts isn't working with it.
Did you thoroughly shut down Manycam? Because if you just click the X, it's still running in the background and still has your camera.
Yeah, no, in this case I thoroughly shut it down.
Okay.
At least I think I thoroughly shut it down. Let's see if Task Manager told me.
I'll be right back
But
again.
it wasn't working even before I was running Manycam.
Well, we have 3 accomplished internet video people. We should be able to get something figured out.
Now, at the moment, I'm more marveling at the fact that the problem report doesn't give me a way to report this problem.
I don't see, you mean via send feedback?
If you go to Issues in the upper right-hand corner, it lets you report an issue with Hangouts. But camera doesn't work isn't one of the problems. I can mute the video. That's nice. Useless, but nice.
You can always try it again and rejoin.
Yeah.
I tried
Trying
joining
it again is going to involve rebooting this machine, which I don't feel like doing at the moment.
Oh,
now
I
you're
got your
moving
video.
again.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah. You're relaxed.
Can you see me?
Yeah, but there's a massive delay.
Are you wireless or are
I
you
bet I know what that is.
wired?
Yeah, I'm wireless at the moment.
Yeah.
And I told it I'm using a slow connection.
I tried logging in on my iPhone, and it would. I could see it, but it wouldn't let me log in. So.
What is on my on the screen I have? It says invite screen share. Let me see how the screen share. Share your screen. Oh, and then I can select which screen to share. Okay, cool. So I can do that.
You've never used the screen share function before?
Not. I don't think I've used it at all, and certainly not in a on-air hangout. And then
That's interesting. So they borrowed. They took the screen share from extras and put it into the on-air one, but only for the owner.
Correct.
That's interesting. You can do interesting things with that now.
Yeah, on the top left of my screen. Maybe I can screen share. I guess let me try it and see if this works. Share a selected window.
There we go. We can see it.
Yeah, it looks like it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you see I've got at the top left here I've got chat, and I'm gonna turn I got my volume down here. I'm gonna try to watch the hangout on air. See, I'm seeing you.
Yeah.
Let me click on myself here and see if that is all right. It's real wild for you guys, but it's not showing up on the on-air thing. So
next to the screen share, what's the button right next to screen share?
it says apps. There's chat from left to right. It's chat.
That says apps?
Yes, it does.
It says apps.
Whoa! That says apps.
But it doesn't do anything.
What if you
Dan, click on that.
I did.
Click on it. Click on it. Click on it.
Oh my God. Okay, if I click on it, it does nothing. It just removes the video feed.
Okay, but it portends something to come.
No. Yeah. Well, yes. But I know what it pretends.
Okay.
So you have apps. You have apps. That's
Even
interesting.
more importantly, I have apps and Alan doesn't.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
No, that's the thing, Dan. I do have apps.
Prisoner. Huh?
That's the thing. I do have apps, but not on a normal Hangout. I only have it on a developer Hangout. This is exciting.
Now I'm frozen.
You're moving fine on our end.
You're moving fine to me.
So what would be the sharing of an app, Alan?
You're having a coronary. You're totally stoked.
I am stoked.
Okay, explain for anyone watching.
It's an
now
epiphany.
if I post this thing. And if a stink bug doesn't land on my head, I'm actually post this. Unless YouTube deletes it.
The apps are basically, it allows non-Google developers to create programs that run inside a Hangout and let everyone who is running that app inside the Hangout interact, use it through the app. So, for example,
Mohammed was talking about this.
Mohammed was talking about his hack to do the same sort of thing.
Right.
I've been talking about this for a month or two now. This is the Hangout API that I've been talking about.
Mm.
And you,
This is wasted on me. But it doesn't do anything. It's just a button there.
Well, it doesn't do anything because you're not permitted. You don't have access to any apps right now. If you would be willing to give me the email address that you are running this under.
I can't do that. And you shouldn't ask me. A, no. B,
well,
you shouldn't have asked me something like that on a public broadcast.
No, two
hangout.
things, Dan. I asked you for an email address, not your account. There's a difference.
If we could hook up physically in the same location at some point and I could start something and you could, that'd be one thing, but I can't, obviously.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
If I knew your email address, I would be able to permit you to the apps that I've written. And possibly the next time you start it up, you would see them showing up under there.
Mm.
I mean, is that totally above board?
I mean, you giving me your email address is up to you. That is totally your prerogative.
No, I have no problem with that at all. It's not. This is not a public email address, but I'll share it with you.
But you don't need to share it with me now because you need to restart the Hangout anyway to see it.
Right, but just for future reference, I'll show you. I mean, I have no problem with that. Oh, I'm typing on the wrong. This is my relatively spam-free email address. Not
I promise. I promise I will not give it to anyone. It's
totally cool with you guys having it, no problem at all. I just don't publicly share it because I have my other one. We get hundreds and hundreds a day, and I literally have like 3 people who handle some of it because I can't physically read it all.
And as for it being above board, yes, it's completely above board.
Oh yeah, as long as it's totally cool. I mean, it's not like giving you my username and password or something, and you're posing as me.
No, no. Dan, I would not in the least bit even think to ask you for that.
Yeah, check your chat.
Yeah, I see it. Thank you.
Okay. That's funny.
A visitor.
That's like the SNL episode. Where exactly are all the troops? Remember when the Iraq War was going on, and they were making fun of where exactly are all the troops?
Maya's joined us.
Hey, what's going on?
Hi there.
Good to see you. It's Maya or Maya?
Maya.
Maya. Good. I don't think I've actually hung out with you before. We've chatted in Google Plus, but I haven't had the pleasure.
It's the first
of actually...
time, yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Now, you are in Norway, right?
No, not yet. I have applied for a job in Norway. I'm currently in the Netherlands. I still have to survive 2 more job interviews before I actually move there.
I love your accent. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Bruce from Lynchburg, Virginia, where I occasionally live, and I'm about 3 hours north of him. And Alan, I'm embarrassed. I can't remember what state you're in.
Because I've never told you.
That's right. Yeah.
So I've given you information, but you have not reciprocated.
That's correct.
Yeah.
What's your point?
I remember.
Very straightforward. Very straightforward.
Okay, I'm now releasing information. I am from New York.
Maya is from the coolest place, though, Holland.
Yeah, it's very cool here, indeed.
No, I've been following Maya for a few weeks now. I forget how many, actually.
Okay. Well,
Now, Maya, are you familiar with Mike Verstee in the Netherlands, who developed the VidBlaster video production streaming software?
No, I'm not.
Okay. I was just curious.
It must be cold. You're wearing mittens or
Oh,
gloves.
yes.
I don't know what are those called? Fingerless gloves?
Well, they come here arm warmers.
Arm warmers, I like that.
Because they're like this, so I mean it's like this long, so it's good for your arm. But it don't go.
The Europeans are always on the cutting edge of fashion.
Oh yes, totally.
They'll be all the rage in 2 years.
Maybe. Well,
Over here in the U.S.
Well, I would be surprised if you guys don't have things like this.
I don't know. Maybe we do.
I don't know. I've never been in the United States. I've been in Canada. Didn't see them there either, I must say. But they're so cold when I was there in December that you want to wear something more than just this.
What kind of headset do you have?
It's a Corsair HS1A analog version, so it doesn't have the USB a sound card built in.
Oh, neat. It's Corsair, like Korsair?
Yep.
Cool.
Like the memory brands. It's the same company. They branched out in audio equipment as well.
Okay, neat.
So yeah, it's a gamer's headset, but I also use it for monitoring. I'm well, amateur sound engineer, I could say.
Neat. Yeah, I've got 2 different kinds. I've got some that like go over the ear, and then I've got this kind, which I do during my main show. But it doesn't have near the audio quality I wish it did.
Yeah, that's often the problem because it's so small, so it doesn't have a lot of. It's more like a tweeter basically. So it's good for the high frequencies. For low frequencies, it's not so good. And yeah, of course, it also doesn't keep the sound in.
It's about quality versus appearance, because like
Yeah.
this one, it's hidden, right? Because it's like on my collar and then goes over my ear, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I can hear everybody, but I couldn't tell if there was a slight echo somewhere, or if you were slightly overmodulated or something like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to pick that up with this. That's the disadvantage. So
Yeah.
if you don't have a sound engineer, then it's risky to use something like this, even though it's aesthetically more pleasing.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, when I'm using these I use 50mm drivers. I can hear pretty much everything. Even
Oh yeah.
But it is quite annoying if you listen to some old MP3s you downloaded years ago and they're like awesome back then. But then you put on something like this, and you can hear every single artifact in it.
Yep. You could even hear Bruce's phone ringing.
Oh yes. Hear everything. It's well, it does have its advantage. I mean, when you're monitoring, it's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean, it's also when you're playing an FPS game, it's good to hear where the guy is behind you.
Right.
So it's quite similar.
So you got you're close, or you've got the job lined up in Norway?
I'll say again. I didn't quite catch that.
Are you you said you're looking to move to Norway, right?
Yeah.
And you were talking about, have you got the job set?
Not
is
yet.
It still iffy? You're still hopeful, but not 100%.
I've done the first interview, survived that. It was, I believe, last week Tuesday I had the first job interview, the speed one, and I'm getting invitation for the next interview also by phone. If I survive that one, I get invited to Oslo, to the Nokia office there, for the in-person interview.
That's awesome.
And if I survive that, I have the job.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Hope you get that.
It would be awesome.
Yeah. I know you're eager to explore a new country.
Well, not entirely new.
It's still close, right? I mean.
Yeah, it's basically the other side of the Eastern Sea. You see, whatever you call it in English.
What does it cost? Like, because your family and friends are in Holland or in the Netherlands?
Netherlands, yeah.
And so how long? Like, what is a ticket? Is this somewhere you'd fly, or you take a train, or what? How would you get?
Fly usually.
What's the ticket cost?
Last time I went to Norway, I'm not sure, to Oslo, it's maybe, I think, 150 euro or so, I think, single.
A little over $200 then.
Yeah, something like that.
How long is the flight?
It's about 1 hour. It's quite close. It's only like 500 kilometers or so. So.
That's the thing that was so neat when I lived in London. You could travel, and it was really inexpensive, and everything was close because you're there. Going from the U.S. to Europe is a big deal financially and time-wise.
Yeah.
But if I were rich like Alan, I could just hop in a plane and zip over for the weekend.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing in the United States. If you want to go from New York to, say, Los Angeles or so, that's quite a trip, even by plane.
Yeah, we're geographically large. It's funny, a lot of people don't realize, like, Australia is almost the exact same size as the 48 United States. It's far less populated because it's not populatable. I mean, a lot of it is not.
Most of its population's around the edges.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not healthy living in the whole country. A lot of it's not conducive to that. But people don't realize how big Australia is.
Well, it's pretty big. I've considered moving there as well. I was working on that earlier this year, so I'm quite exploring it.
Dan,
go ahead.
You got to remember, you're talking American citizens. Most American citizens don't realize how large Alaska is.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the luxury. I've lived overseas until about the 9th grade. Almost my whole life was in, everywhere from West Africa, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, England, West Africa, Belgium.
Nice.
All over the place.
So Dan, let me ask you a question. Is this on-air hangout, the invitation, was it sent out like you normally send out your weekly show invites, or is this
different? Because I think, did it pop up as a Google Talk message or as an email or just in your stream?
Well, I first saw it when I checked the My Hangouts plugin, and you were right up on top.
How did you see it, Maya?
I saw it in Canopy.
Okay.
So then I checked out in the stream because that's I guess a bit more information. And yeah, I joined.
Yeah, because it's different because it was a challenge to get people. Because I had people asking me, like, how come I don't see it? In fact, Priz, I think you asked me, right?
Mm.
You said, is there a hangout tonight for the show Friday? Because I didn't know what I was doing.
No, I didn't ask. I didn't ask that because I was late on Friday, remember?
Oh, that's right. But I had a couple people say, hey, is there a hangout? What's the deal? But tonight, what I did for this, when you first go in, and I made the mistake on Friday, I just went to do my normal hangout, and it said, you have been invited to blah, blah, blah. Click here. And so I should have known better and not done that because you should always test something before you do a live important event, right?
Definitely.
You want to upgrade your software. Like I would never upgrade a new version of Wirecast right before I do a live show. You know, all this
where never is defined as almost never.
Almost never. Yeah, because I actually have done that before. But Wirecast is a much more mature product now than it was a year ago, and I trust them a little bit more than I used to.
Trust.
But yeah, so I'm not sure exactly how you get the invites because I've never been invited to one, to a live hangout. I've only invited others. And I don't have like a dummy test account to see, you know, how it responds. Bruce, you saw it?
I saw it
in an app, an extension, right?
Yeah, I first saw it in the My Hangouts extension.
Priz, how did you see it?
I saw it in the stream because I don't run any stupid extensions.
I'm glad Oleg could make it. You guys are rubbing off at each other. If he's watching, I'm kidding. I love Oleg.
This rivalry between Oleg and I really bugs me sometimes.
It's a ratings bonanza for me, so I'm encouraging it.
I know you are, and I understand it, but it still bugs me sometimes because it
probably
really...
1,000 people or more watch every week, just as hoping,
hoping we get into another fist fight.
No, it's not that at all. It's a lively debate. I mean, what fun is the Sunday morning panel if it's a love fest? You want to have? I want to see someone argue whether Apple or Android is better, or argue about whether this aspect of something is going to destroy the world or save the world.
I don't need Oleg. I can argue both sides of those arguments.
The viewers have the same. The viewers are on both sides as well, and so they have someone to root for and someone to, and it makes it. I want stuff questioned. I don't want just everyone to agree. I want, if we throw something out there, I want to have both sides well represented by articulate people, and you both are, so it's fantastic.
Isn't he the John C. Dvorak of your show?
I love John Dvorak. I love him.
Well, the opinions about that person are divided, I believe.
Dvorak has like half a dozen posts on his second to last post was sent to me. I didn't even notice it because he didn't do it right. The plus whatever. If you go to John Dvorak's page, there's a picture of an eagle because we're both fans of eagles. And I took this picture. I was in Virginia at a winery, and a bald eagle flew over me, and I totally freaked out. And I happen to have my Canon 1D Mark IIN with my giant lens on it, and I was like, oh my gosh! And so I was like, click, 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 click for like 5 minutes as this bald eagle flew over me, like a 7-foot wide bird.
Nice. And
it was so awesome. And CNN used the picture, and then I wrote about it, and then I talked to John, and I said, and he mentioned that I think it's in Montana or Wyoming. I think Montana. He said that bald eagles there will they'll pick up your cat or small dog. Like you'll be walking your dog and a bald eagle will just come down and grab it. And so I put that in the story. And then he posted something with this really funny picture. You should look at it. John C. Dvorak with a period after the C, I think. But he's got this picture. It's this guy holding an eagle, and they're both like really stern-faced. It's really funny. But I didn't see it for like 2 months later because I didn't get notified because he didn't type it in, or it didn't work or something. I think he misspelled it, or I forget. But that was funny. But he's a great guy. I've been following his writing for years. I love John Dvorak. And he also gets credit for inventing a keyboard he didn't invent. I think that was invented before he was born.
Probably.
What time is it where you are? It's got to be late, right?
It's
midnight?
5 minutes to midnight. So yeah, pretty late.
Now, are you in a big city or a rural community or what? Where you are?
I'm in the eastern part of the Netherlands, so it's quite well. No, I mean it's a very small city. I mean you could call it the Dutch Bible Belt, essentially.
The what?
The Dutch Bible Belt.
Hmm.
So it's very interesting here.
Yeah. But is there a lot to do there? I mean, lots of places to go?
No, not really. There's the big cities around here. They're quite a distance away. I do go to a nearby big city, weekly beauty salon appointments, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But around here, well, there are shops, and that's it. So I do sometimes leave the house.
Well, I'm excited for you about the new gig. I really hope it works out. And I
hope
hope you,
so.
you know, keep us posted as it goes. And all that good stuff.
Definitely. Yeah, I've been I'm working on my well, resolutions for next year. I just posted a very long post on what I hope is going to happen next year. Also about with the human rights campaign I intend to start in earnest next year. I've done one interview here on G Plus already, which is quite interesting. I mean, doing an interview in Hangout with Sarah Hill, so I'm being broadcast in Missouri, first time.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm famous there, and on Google Plus as well, and on YouTube you can watch it again. And it's the kind of format I find very interesting. Because, I mean, I've been on television before here in Netherlands. It's usually for a show. It takes months to record, and it's shown once or twice for a relatively small audience, and this is quite different. So,
Maya,
yeah.
it was a big gamble for you to go public, right?
Well, I've been public since early 2007 already, so it's I've been at it for a while, like 4 years now. It's not so I mean, it's not like I came out on Google Plus or anything.
Right, but I mean, it was a gamble. I mean, when you first did it, it was risky.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I wasn't the one who first decided that. It was someone I knew, an acquaintance, girl. She and I had been chatting for a while, and she noticed how upset I was becoming because I wasn't telling anyone except a few good friends. So eventually it got so bad. She was like, "Okay, we're now going to tell everyone." It was on IRC, if you do remember that.
My thing was, if I were in your situation, and I can't empathize, and if you want to know what we're talking about, just look at her profile. But my thing is, I don't know if I would have the courage if I were in your situation to talk about it, and I would be afraid that I would be defined solely by that, as opposed to like if I became a big shot at Nokia or a broadcaster or a computer technician or someone who works in a Christian ministry or whatever your line of work is, or your family, or whatever, if you wrote a book or something. My fear would be I would be defined just as that, and everything else I would do wouldn't matter as much. It would always be in the first sentence of your biography. You know what I mean? So I mean, I think it was courageous. Go ahead, Chris.
You're raising an interesting point, but I think you're also raising a point that certainly for a lot of Americans, they don't tend to think about how other people would perceive them and how that impacts a lot of things. I mean, I'm going to make an assumption, and that is, some of the assumptions I know are correct. You are a white male Protestant Christian, correct?
Me? Yeah.
Okay. And I asked that.
I'm not in a protected group.
Well, it's not even just that you're. I'm not. No. And I don't like using the term protected group.
I grew up well-to-do. I've had a privileged life. Yes. So I can't empathize with. Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, I come from a fairly, a fairly reasonable background as well, and I can't either for the most part. But there have been times and situations where I've suddenly found myself amongst a group where I was a minority. And it's a very odd and scary position in some cases. And I think most Americans don't understand that and don't, you use the term protected group. I hate that term. And I hate it.
I've not been on the receiving end of discrimination.
Right. And I think most Americans haven't. Right. Most Americans haven't, and they can't really even begin to understand what it feels like.
Most white guys haven't.
I would even say most Americans haven't.
I mean, I would say we're better. We're not perfect. No society's perfect.
I will grant that, but it's in some cases it's almost shockingly surprising to realize. I like to think of myself as fairly open-minded, and having been on the receiving end of discrimination myself, I like to think that I'm at least somewhat sensitive to it, and yet I catch myself all the time. And I think most people do, are very unconsciously acting that way without realizing they are. And, it bugs me when I catch myself doing it. It really bugs me when I read stories of other people being discriminated like that. And I look at it and I go, well, how would I act? I'd like to think I'd act correctly. I'd like to think.
I'll tell you what. I'm in Virginia, as Bruce is, and we have a very bad past in terms of race issues, right? We were the capital of the Confederacy. And I read, in Warren County, where I am now, they actually closed the public school system for almost a year rather than let black kids in. And I interviewed an activist who was one of the first African-American girls to go to Warren County High School, and she didn't want to do it, but her dad made them, because he said, you know what, her dad actually sued to get the kid in there. He said that her older siblings, that he had put up with it, and he said, damn it, I'm not going to put up with it anymore. I'm going to send my kid to the school, and I'm not going to send her to the black school. I'm going to send her to the better school, because, of course, Plessy versus Ferguson, separate but equal, wasn't equal. And they poisoned his cattle. She was raped. The police just dropped them off at the door, and there was like a screaming mob of people hurling all kinds of racial epithets. And I was interviewing this woman who had been through this. She was a child. I mean, it was like very emotional for me. In fact, I won an award for that show from the Virginia Association of Broadcasters. And it was just like, wow. I mean, it was just a shocking thing for me, like lily white guy, right, talking to someone who had been through that in so many years ago, but not that far ago. And so, but the thing is, someone put it really in perspective. They said that only about someone who was there then, when it was all this racial tension, they said really only about 10% of the people cared anything about race. In other words, of the white people, only about 10% of them were negative toward black people, but the other 90% were afraid of the 10% because they were the violent rednecks. And the other 90% were afraid to do anything because the 10% that were so strong about it, they didn't want to get involved, they didn't want drama, they just wanted to, do their thing, have their white picket fence and their 2.3 kids, blah, blah, blah. And they were intimidated by the radical 10%. And I think that's human nature, and it's sad. And it takes the courage of people like Maya to put herself at risk. And I can't imagine putting myself in that situation. And so I think it's courageous. And but risky. I still say that. I mean, even though, I don't know. I mean, I just, it would be a lot if you were in that situation, or if you had your child. Imagine if you had a child, if you had a daughter. Both you guys, all three of us could have a daughter her age. Would you want her to go on the BBC or Al Jazeera English or ABC News and tell that story?
There's actually,
you know what I mean? It's
within
a big question.
I need to find this. I shared it with a fairly limited number of friends. There's actually in the news relatively recently a family in Maine who had two children, two boys, and as one of them grew up, two twin boys even. Yeah, as one of them grew up, more and more they were beginning to suspect that the child was identifying themselves as a girl. And there were a lot of issues with the local school, and it was in the Boston newspaper probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. The family has tried to talk about exactly what happened and how they came to terms with the situation and how they learned about it, and just their growing understanding of the issues.
Well, I think that's one reason why people have so many difficulties with understanding the situation is that something like what you mentioned, feeling like you belong to the other gender. That's something which is relatively easy for people to understand because it fits within the binary male-female pattern. So there's nothing too unusual. You can kind of imagine, you might want that. But for an intersex person like me, I mean, most do decide because it's easier to just give in and become normal, male or female. But then, I mean, I'm the rebel. I'm the rebel because I don't want that. I'm like, I was born this way. I'm okay with being this way. I want to be this way. It's just my environment which doesn't allow me to. And I have had to suffer for it. I mean, this year I've been beaten up by the police even. And, well, it's still the right choice. Because the more resistance I get, the more I know that I'm right.
Well, the thing is, Maya, and you're a sweetheart, and I'm sorry you're upset, but you're the smallest possible minority. I mean, not only is it a small group of people, but most people, like I didn't really understand or hadn't really heard much about it. I mean, I'd heard of it, but didn't really. I mean, it could be, what, a dozen people in the world or something. I mean, it's a small group of people.
Well, actually not. Intersex, it occurs in 1 in every 1,000 children or more. Statistics aren't that accurate yet, because hospitals generally do not register it. It's often hidden within the records, because it's usually fixed right after birth. 1-month-old infants who are born with ambiguous genitals, they receive genital surgery, even though it's absolutely not required. So exactly how many get it and how many transsexuals are actually intersex people who received that genital surgery as an infant, it's hard to say. So numbers I've seen, there are a couple of researchers, they propose that it's more something like 4% of the world population. So 1 in every 25 children is born intersex with an intersex condition. My type is of course quite rare. Hermaphroditism, I mean, it relies on male and female embryo merging, and that kind of thing is usually lethal, resulting in an abortion, natural abortion. So I'm lucky to even be born. But yeah.
I mean, your subset of there's intersex where the difference, I guess, intersex is simply you possess some traits of both genders.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
the having the physical traits of both is a whole different thing. And I bet there aren't 20 people who are in that condition and have publicly acknowledged it.
Well, especially the latter part. I mean, as long as the latter part doesn't happen, the former is quite hard to define.
Correct.
I guess that's the problem here. I've noticed and I've heard that in Asian cultures they're a lot more open about it. Because hermaphrodite is not seen as a freak of nature like here in the Western countries, but more like something special, sometimes even something divine. That's a very different altitude.
Not only are you in a minority, not only are you discriminated against, but the particular form of what you are puts a lot of people in an uncomfortable cultural position because they have to confront things that they don't want to have to confront.
Yeah, that's it. I guess it's especially
they'd rather just not talk about it, and so that it makes it even the worse. So that's why you get emotional, even though you've been on TV, 50 times talking about this. In a simple Google Hangout, you get emotional about this.
Yeah.
Can I comment on something?
Yes, Bruce, go ahead.
Yeah, you're gonna have to really. It's really tough when you don't know somebody and you're just meeting them for the first time. But I have 2 daughters and I have 3 granddaughters, and I'm very moved by your sharing. I'm moved by your courage. I'm moved by your profile, and I'm just really touched by that, and I mean that genuinely speaking. I also happen to have been here in the United States. I am a pastor, and that might sound like really frightening at first, but I want you to know, and I do this quite often. This could really, and you guys can help me. I work with a lot of people who have gone through some really difficult stuff, and I just wanted to say, if nobody's told you they loved you yet today,
no.
I love you. I'm here in Virginia. We've never met before, but I know that even spiritually I have a responsibility to love everybody and to not be discriminatory in any way. And if you haven't heard that today, I say that to you, and I mean it genuinely.
Thank you.
I would be proud to have you as a daughter. Okay? Thanks, guys, for letting me share that.
Bruce, I'm proud of you and so happy you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, this is an issue that I wasn't sure how you would react, because I lived in Lynchburg.
Mm-hmm.
This wouldn't go over too hot over there in some circles, right? And some folks aren't. Some folks are not as charitable, and I just think I don't know. I just think she's a sweetheart, and
Absolutely.
I'm a stronger person for knowing her,
Mm-hmm.
and I just I don't know how to articulate it, but you did much better than any of us could do.
Well, and I realize it can come.
She's a courageous young woman.
Well, and the reason I hesitated because it can come across as just kind of pie in the sky on my part, but I mean this genuinely. In fact, I would just encourage a lot of you to think about it. You're going to run into people. You're going to run into a lot of people who have been divorced and they're single and they've gone through the holidays, and it's been weeks since anybody ever expressed to them that they love them. And look for opportunities to share that with people, and it takes a little guts because you wonder sometimes what people are thinking about. Well, what kind of ulterior motive do you have? But people need to hear it, and if they've not heard it in a while, you'd be surprised how much it can mean to them. So
that's awesome, Bruce. Mm-hmm. You've raised the bar for all Google Hangouts.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
Jonathan, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing nice. How about yourself?
Doing quite well. Did you have a great Christmas?
Yes, I did.
All of us ate too much, except Maya, who's still pretty and skinny, and but I ate a lot. I'm going on a diet for like 3 more weeks. after this weekend. So, Alan, have you figured out what kind of chat room we should do? You have any ideas?
Well, the biggest thing I keep pondering is a chat room that is inherently tied into a Google account would seem to me the best way to do it.
Well, but a lot of... Are you sure? Because some folks are watching the Justin feed. We want to be able to tie everybody in. What I'm trying to think of is, like, for example, this is a Hangout.
Well, here's the thing, Dan. Here's the thing. You've already got... I mean, the Justin thing requires its own account. Every chat account, every chat system out there is going to require some sort of login.
Right.
It is to your benefit to encourage people to go with an account that will dovetail in with everything else that you're doing. And since the Hangouts on Air are heading for YouTube, that encourages that behooves you to what's the way to put this? Drink all of the Google Kool-Aid. And I hate the Kool-Aid phrase because I know where it comes from, but
I don't.
Oh, look up Guyana and Jim Jones.
It
Bill
refers
O'Reilly.
to a suicide pact, basically.
Okay, that's a bit. Yeah.
Oh, let me defend him here. What he's saying, it's a commonly used term here, with negative origins. In Guyana, the Jonestown, Reverend Jim Jones, and they all killed themselves with Kool-Aid, and it became a thing to sort of a flippant
Oh
way to
yes,
say
I remember like
you're
that.
just towing the party line, or you're just repeating talking points you've heard from someone else, or you're not thinking for yourself. You're following what is accepted wisdom without using your own brain, and you're drinking the Kool-Aid. It's not a direct reference to that, but it is. But
I've heard about a case indeed, yes, with the cyanide-laced Kool-Aid, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the origin of it. So I know it's acquired additional meaning since then, but that's always bugged
way
me.
to kill the mood, Priz. It was so positive. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
And I'm always so positive about Google. But anyway, no. I mean, basically, you want to be able to have people who are in the chat. You want them to be able to get into the Hangout potentially. You want them to be able to comment on YouTube. You want them to be able to join in Google+. Basically, you want them to have Google accounts.
Basically, yes.
You don't want this chat to be something totally divorced from everything else. If you're trying to create a listener base that's interacting with you, you want them to interact on all fronts.
Yeah, well, that's one thing with the Hangout with extras. It seems to have been meant as a way for people without Google accounts, Google Plus accounts at least, to communicate in Hangout as well, or a video chat meeting without the need to have a Google Plus account. But I'm not sure if it's ever used for that purpose, or that Google ever tends to take it that far.
So the follow-up question in my mind turns into, is there a way to leverage existing Google Chat with that sort of thing? Can you create Google Chat rooms, dedicated Google Chat rooms? And the answer is, I don't know.
Dedicated in what sense?
And certainly there isn't a way to do to have a Google Chat room going to a Google Plus page, which is kind of where you're aiming, which is kind of the direction this would be going.
I'm looking for here's the deal. I want right now, if someone's watching this, they have no way to like this gentleman here, James Lawson Smith. He's embedded, or I'll have to check it out afterward. There's other comments in different places, but there's no central thing that works for everything.
No, I get it, and this is something you need to actually. I mean that I'm assuming everybody who's doing Hangouts on Air is trying to figure out at the moment is how do you integrate it. One of the big questions that the Hangout team is constantly posed with is, that chat on the chat on the left-hand side is a straight-up Google chat. It works exactly the same. It's the exact same widget, it's the exact same technology, it's the exact same everything. as standard Google chat. It's the Google chat that you see on Google+. It's the Google chat you see in Gmail. Why isn't that integrated somehow, somewhere, some way? And the answer is maybe it is, maybe it isn't, maybe it will be. But in the meantime, how do we leverage the exact same technology to create that central place that people can rally around? What we know Google is doing, is they're trying to make a Google Plus page part of that rallying point. And how do you take that and take real-time chat and take Hangouts, and how do you put them all together in the right mix, in the right way, so you get exactly what you want? And
well, the thing is, what I like about, Perillo has one. I forget what it's called, but if you go, I think it's chrisperillo.com or whatever, you'll see it. Leo uses IRC and has a pop-out. And I like that because it's real easy to join.
No, I understand.
You don't even have to log in. You can you'll be random number, user anonymous 1842 of the day.
Dan, trust me. Dan, I have been doing web-based chat since 1994.
Back in the Stone Age.
I have been doing internet chats since before IRC was called IRC.
I'll put your little picture right here.
Okay? So I understand it. I understand the technology. I understand the issues. The question really comes down to, okay, let's say, hypothetically, we set up an IRC channel and we set up a widget that let people do that. So now you've got this IRC chat streaming over here that is totally divorced from whatever is going on live, that's totally divorced from whatever is going on your page. So we've got all of this information that's unified by name only. There is no connection between the three things. That's the problem, and that's what I think to really rally your user base, you need to have them together. So that you can say,
yes and no. I want a public chat that we're all monitoring all the time, no matter what. Even if we're not in a Hangout, you could just
absolutely.
Dan, right?
Dan, I didn't say that.
But I also want the private thing here, so that during a show.
I didn't say that we wanted this private chat to show up publicly.
No. What I'm saying is there's a place for a private chat. For example, during the show, when I have 80 of you guys or whatever, on the side, when I'll be typing like, okay, Bruce, you're next. Get ready. Maya, you're coming up after that. Get ready. And then, whoever can, Jonathan could say, I want in on this topic, or I don't want in this topic. And he can say all that, and I'm watching that. That's my guidance to do the show. Right? And so that's cool, and that doesn't have to be public. I mean, I wouldn't mind if it were public, but it doesn't have to be public. And frankly, I don't want it to be all open because I don't want to have it bombarded.
Right, that's your
now
show.
I say like go in all caps because I can't. There's too much going on, and I can't follow. And I need to be able to. I've got too much going on. I got to pay attention.
Right, that's your show control. But think of it this way: what if there was? And I'm kind of blue skying technology a little bit here. I'll admit. But what if there was a way that you had the Dan McDermott chat room that was on your Google Plus page, and every hour or so, the transcript from that chat room would automatically get posted to the page publicly. Mm-hmm. So you have this sense of a permanent conversation and a real-time conversation, all of which are tied together under your page brand name.
That's cool, and even if someone did it, I don't care who owns it as long as it's. But that's one thing I don't like about Leo's is I don't think there's any archiving.
Well, that's the biggest.
It's gone. It's gone, right?
Right. That it's actually really interesting to There are issues with archiving though, because there are people that don't want their text archived like that.
Okay, well that's a good point. Relax, Priz. Take a break.
Good night. I was wondering if that was you yawning, Maya.
He's gonna fall asleep. You're making Maya tired because you're.
Yeah, it's past midnight here, so I guess I should be heading to bed for now.
Well, it was great. It was great finally getting to meet you in a Hangout.
Yeah. Same here. So
great meeting up with you, Maya.
Absolutely. Sleep well.
Great seeing you again.
Be seeing you.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right.
What a sweetheart.
Yeah. Definitely.
No, and I'm sorry I get excited about this, Dan, but this has been my career for 20 years. This has been my passion for 25 years.
Well,
So,
I'm stoked. We got to figure this out. So there's a simple thing, like for right now, if there was, I'd love to have a little pop-up chat right here where all of us would know to kind of keep an eye on that, and someone could say, like, like yesterday, I don't know if it was Linda or who said, could you, or Friday night, they said, Dan, get your mouse off the guy's face. I didn't realize I had my mouse on Muhammad or whoever was speaking's face. It'd just be neat if they could interact with us, even when we're not on the show. We could just kind of have it somewhere, and all the regular folks and our friends, all of us could just kind of have it up and interact with each other. I just think that would be neat to have sort of a central thing where everyone's on the same page, because we've kind of developed our own little mini social community.
Yeah.
I know Jonathan's on board with us.
Yeah.
I am finding something called, where'd it go?
So the hangoutnetwork.com/onair/Google+Week has been set up. Let's see what that is. Oh, it's you. Wow. That's interesting.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
Another interesting fact on Google Plus, the longest hangout has resumed itself.
They did what?
The longest hangout has came back.
Oh, it has. It's resumed?
Yeah.
It went like 70 days the first time?
Uh-huh.
Well, now probably they got a lot more people who would do it. I mean, they were real, like, Wild West trendsetters when they first started. It was probably hard to, probably several divorces were caused. I mean, the whole deal. Fine, go to your hangout. I'll take half your money.
To the point now is we're trying to work with Google to the point that they give live streaming capabilities to the certain key individuals.
What is this? The Hangout Network, I'm looking here. They've got a Google Plus Week page. I'm looking at myself live. My name, I'm host of, and this is interesting. I'm trying to figure out how to go back to the home. I guess this is a directory, thehangoutnetwork.com. This is cool.
I just sent you a URL for a chat room for Google Talk. I haven't tried it, but that might show some potential if it still works. The other thing is, I have added you to the two apps, the two Hangout apps, or two of the Hangout apps that I'm developing. So next time you start a Hangout on air, that apps pull down might be populated with something, but it probably won't be currently.
I'm thinking, at the risk of crashing the Hangout, as I did twice last time.
It shouldn't be there currently.
Yeah, it's not there. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be.
And I can't, if I shut down, it shuts down. But you guys,
Just on your recording.
We discovered, no, I guess you came in afterward. The Hangout will continue, but the broadcast will stop. Maybe. I don't even know yet. I haven't figured this whole thing out.
Yeah, it will stop, and we'll be like kind of like trapped in here somewhat. Yeah, to the point we
I was trapped out. I was looking from the outside, looking in, and yeah, I had like 12 minutes during my show Friday. It was an absolute disaster.
Uh-oh.
It was funny. I left it in there too, but then I told people you can just skip ahead to this point if they want to watch me squirm.
Yeah, because once the hosts drop out, there's no way you can invite nobody in or nothing.
Yeah. So anyway, welcome back, Bruce.
Yeah, of course, I told you I'm in that every 15 minutes having to drink this stuff.
Oh dear.
So, Alan,
Y'all talk. I'll be right back. I can
Yeah.
hear what you're saying through speakers, but I'm gonna disengage for a moment.
okay. So, Alan, I'm in my lower GI purge and cleanse phase for a procedure tomorrow.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. No fun, but since we're all guys here, it's and it's great to have health insurance that pays for one of those every 5 years or whatever. So
That is good, at least.
yeah. I'm really interested to see what you find out about the apps thing that you were mentioning earlier.
I'm really curious. I mean, I'm really curious to see if Dan can see the 2 apps that I've now permitted him to.
Mm-hmm.
That will be very interesting if it comes through. I mean, the Hangout apps, as I've been playing with them, are really, really exciting. And if you've heard me ramble on the show about them at any point, you can tell just how excited I am for them.
Yeah. I don't know if, I think it was not last Friday, but the Friday before last, I didn't think I was even going to be able to get in. I don't know if you saw me, but I just landed in Charlotte on a flight out of Melbourne, Florida. I was on one of these little Canadair, twin jet things, and they didn't have our gate ready, so I had 3G, so I logged into the Hangout, but I muted my mic because I knew it was going to be too noisy where I was. But I don't know if you recalled seeing any of that. I mean, I was walking down the aisle. I was outside. It was raining. I was holding an umbrella.
I dimly remember that and going, what is he doing?
Yeah, but it was great because I was able to hear and benefit from the discussion. And I wasn't sure if there was a way I could mute the camera on the iPhone or not, but
it's frustrating. I just got a new tablet computer that's running Android 2.2, but it has a front-facing camera. But I can't use it because you need Android 2.3 to support the cameras for video hangouts, which is just like, come on, guys. I have the video camera. It's pointing in the right direction.
Right.
Is there a good reason why you're not letting me do it?
Which one do you have? I have a friend who's got an Asus transformer, and he's been able to use Hangouts.
I just picked out a Pan Digital Star.
Oh, okay.
And Dan's heard me raving about the Pan Digitals. I finally picked one up. I think Pan Digital is the company to keep an eye on for the next year. Because they're... Did my camera just die? My camera just died.
He just froze on us.
Yep. You can hear me, though, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, figures. Okay. Let's see if I can help.
And I can't do nothing to help you.
No, it's me. I really wish I knew what in the world was going on with this thing. Pan Digital, this was I don't even remember when the sale was. It's basically a $99 tablet that works better than my cell phone. The only downside to it, it's got an older version of Android, but otherwise it works really quite well. And even on that version of Android, it's running. Yeah, go away. It's running. I said go away.
So are you running? Are you on Windows or Mac?
Mac.
Okay.
And even on, even with that version of Android, it's running nice and zippy.
Mm-hmm.
which is more than I can say for my cell phone. So, $99 tablet that's pretty full-featured. I think Pan Digital is really going to be making more of a name for themselves this year. Did I just lose audio now too?
No, we can still hear you.
Oh, you can. Okay.
No.
You got very quiet suddenly, so I got worried.
So doing the Google Shopping thing, I can see a couple of different. Is yours a Pan Digital novel?
No, it is the Pan Digital Star,
Okay.
which is about the same level as the novel. The novel is their previous generation.
Okay.
The Star is actually like relatively modern technology.
Right.
But it's the same.
Is-
It came out
is
at
it-
the same time as their Nova and their Supernova and something else. Oh, the Planet.
Planet. Yeah, I'm looking at the Planet now. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Great tablet? No, it's not a great tablet. It's certainly not an iPad. I'm not even going to pretend that it is.
Mm-hmm.
But for my purposes, which was to hand to a 3-year-old and not worry too much when he throws it on the floor,
Right.
it meets the need better than an iPad.
How long has this hangout been going on, guys?
45 minutes, an hour? I just got my awake check.
Yeah, me too.
I'm looking. I have not gotten that, and I should have gotten it by now because I was the first one on. So I guess they disabled that. Thank God. That's
Which
one
makes
advantage
sense.
of this. Oh yeah, but here's the thing.
Yeah. They
I'm
they
looking here
they
at the post I did on my profile, December 24. Chichu said, because it rejected it because I hadn't verified my account on that this thing's uploaded to, and he said, did you verify it? If you don't, the recording will get rejected, but the error message is bogus. We have 2-hour on-air recordings successfully uploaded. How long were these? If they were shorter, length is not really the issue, despite what the YouTube error says. So I'm wondering if I should close this and reopen one before it reaches the 2-hour mark. If I'm going to try to save it. You think I should? And then I can try that app thing you did.
Yeah, that's what I want you to.
can you re-invite me back in?
Oh yeah, what I'll do, I'll invite all the circles back in, so you guys should see it within a minute of. But I think I should close this and let it upload and see if it works, because I did verify the YouTube account with the phone, and it should upload. If not, it's going to be lost, which will be a shame. Because Bruce, that was the most touching thing I've ever seen in a Hangout. That exchange between you and Maya.
That was wonderful, Bruce. It really was.
Well,
That was awesome.
Yeah.
You expressed it far better than I could. Thank you.
Well, it was.
I came in on the short end of the stick, but I actually liked it.
Bruce, you're a humble and giving human being. You're a great witness, and you're. I've met many hypocrites, and you're not among them. And that was one of the most touching things I've ever seen. It was awesome. And I know you were sincere, and I know you're a humble guy, and you're probably embarrassed that I'm saying this, but that was one of the most touching things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm a dad.
Well, let me do this. Let me go ahead and I've got an end broadcast thing. I'm going to click that, and then I will I'll start a new one right away, and then invite my circles back in. You guys should be able to get right back in.
All right.
Okay.
See you on the flip side.
Hopefully, Priz will have his video. Hopefully, the professional computer guy, Prisoner, will have us figure out how to work a webcam between now and then.
Don't bet on it.
All right. See you on the other side.
All right, I'll see you guys in a minute.